Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. It's the third day of 90 days of campaigning to the general elections 2026 in Uganda, and each day presents a highlight. And my highlight from yesterday's campaign trail was in particular that of General Mugisha Muntu, who started his campaign yesterday and started from Kawempe. Now, the image of having to see General Muntu maneuver through the slums of Kawempe, cross over the trenches within those slums, was quite an interesting image. A story there, a lot of stories to be told from in there. But on the other hand, as I was watching him cross over and maneuver through all those trenches and slums, I realized I got to understand why the so-called ghetto people tend to identify with Honorable Kyagulanyi, given that he has walked the experience of the trench life, the slum life. Perhaps sometimes it's one of the things that inform their voters' choice at the end of the day. But at the end of the day also, that image showed me a lot of what it means to be active in politics. Indeed, that's why they say politics is a dirty game. But is it really dirty, or we make it dirty? Well, that's for you and I to ponder on and chew on. But welcome to the show. It's the 1st of October. Wow, the 10th month of the year, and also the month of Uganda, where Uganda gets to celebrate her birthday. That will be next week on the 9th of October. But as we all know, it's the month of Uganda, October, when Uganda got her independence. But also, on another note, October is Mental Health Awareness Month every single year. So you'll get to see a couple of conversations here and there addressing matters mental health and mental health awareness. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. I am with Robert Chiravo Nyonyintono. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Again, we've done it.
Yep, we are really twinning when it comes to colors.
I was shocked getting on set. But otherwise, I hope you're fine.
I am. And you, Robert, do share what stood out for you as of the third day of the campaigns yesterday. Of course, matters that had keep on escalating, with different candidates setting what next. They are going to tell their voters what next. But let's first look at the campaign trail as of yesterday.
Well, one of the things I picked concern is the police spokesperson.
Right.
That is Shoke Gituma, bringing footage of the trail of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, where they had guidelines of no processions, ensuring they observe the traffic regulations and Road Safety Act. And now he was trying to show footage to the press that, look, this we may not tolerate. We can't tolerate where you're blocking roads because you're heading to a venue. He said, you go to the venue or let the crowds find you at the venue. But this issue of where you're going and you're blocking roads, people cannot continue with their work because of you have a convoy full of people, you're causing a lot of chaos on the road. He said they have been lenient enough, they are most likely to go in. Now, I've already said, and I will repeat, that we can make this campaign very smoothful, very peaceful, if the candidates, their supporters, decide to be law-abiding, if police acts very responsible and refrains itself from excitement. Now, where sometimes we see that some officers go overboard, they present a lot of excitement. Now, this was a very good step. Instead of police running into causing, no, show people that actually, when we bring in enforcement, we cannot have a road, a highway blocked for hours because a candidate is going to the venue. There are sick people, there are people who are going to fly out of the country, there are people who are going to pick money. There is a lot of things. People are concerned about what you're doing actually. So that you've shown them. Now you the candidate, it comes to you that, hey, we are going here. These are the rules and regulations. You know? Let people gather at the venue. Because without you, they're not going to come like 1,000 of them. They'll go one by one, a bus or two, and gather. You'll find them like on nomination day. By the time Robert Kyagulanyi got to Natete, it was packed full to capacity.
Right.
The people were there. They never came in a manner that is of processions or blocking roads and all that. But also must be understanding that sometimes certain things also candidates may find it hard to convince the electorate, more so in this time of excitement. You know, that yes, much as this person has been walking normally, driving normally through the streets, at this particular time, because he's a candidate, it may be hard for him to move from Magere, go smoothly to a venue. So how do we strike the balance? Can we have his voice to his people and tell them, you know, we don't want these disruptions, we don't want police to come between us, we don't want the tear gas, then the pelting of stones, then arresting some of our supporters. Each vote counts. We don't want to lose it at this time. So please, if you are going to be at the venue at 10, you know the venue, mutandiko simbula ku sawa 10. I mean, mutandiko sawa 10. Mutandiko simbula sawa 8. So that you get there, I find you there, we discuss what we discuss. After, give me where I go, so that we continue taking the message of a new Uganda to our people. You know, I think that is something. But also, the issue of the flag bearers. If there is any trying moment, political parties have gone through those that have people yearning for their flag. That is NRM and NUP, I must say.
Regarding
Now,
NUP, somebody asked, is it a matter of artists as a choice? Because if you think about it, when Honorable Segona was dropped, of course it was Matthias Buga, who we very well know is an artist. Honorable Joyce, Matthias Warukaga, pardon me, yes. Honorable Joyce Bagala was dropped for another actor. She's very well known in the film industry. I forget her name, but of course we know her stage name.
She was good at holding the umbrella for Robert Kyagulanyi during the nomination.
Many people watched her in, I think, a TV drama called Nabosa. She's the one now who took the place for that Honorable Bagala occupied. If we look at Sembabule, Nina Rose, you know, was given the card. And many people are wondering, was it a thing about being artists, musicians in that right, or it was just a coincidence?
One, these places, these constituencies vary. For example, when you look at Joyce Nabosa, Joyce Bagala,
yes.
That she knew, and she saw it coming. Because at one time, she sided with Honorable Matthias Mpuga.
Yes.
It was clear that her chances, actually when I saw her go to pick the forms, it surprised me because it was clear, her fate was already clear.
Determined.
Come to Honorable Segona. Honorable Segona, and that's why I like, even these people have said they weren't shocked. But the problem is, why do you subject yourself to a process you don't believe in? Honorable Segona, it wasn't a shock. It was with Honorable Matthias Mpuga. He showed solidarity to that effect. So it was predetermined that they may lose that ticket. With Nina Rose, Sembabule, that side is predominantly NRM. And you'd find that who was contesting against her, with whom was she in the race? I would say in terms of being on ground and fame, Nina Rose is all that NUP would give that ticket. She was the best, I would say, in those that could contest against her for NUP. So she deserved it because she was the best. Matthias Warukaga and Honorable Segona, of course these are two things you can't compare. You know, if you talk about legislation, Segona is far ahead in experience, in knowledge, in what he has proven to be doing. We've had now, who are you substituting him with? Is it for purpose of good legislation and ability to defeat the party? Definitely, that wouldn't be. But also for political parties, loyalty is very important to the principle.
Right. Very interesting.
It's very important.
This conversation would go on and on and on. My highlight from the electorate as regards to the NUP card, especially with the Honorable Segona. Many of them who are got on ground to speak made statements like, Honorable Segona was good, he spoke well on the floor of Parliament, he represented us. Unfortunately, he represented us based on what he had in his mind. He was not on ground to represent our views as
yes, on ground, we might say that he had his challenges.
Right.
On ground as a person. But you see, those that look at Segona that way do not look at the core roles of a member of parliament. You know, we've drilled away. We think the MP must buy alcohol, must attend burials, must attend weddings, give. But for core purposes of legislation and oversight, I think he was the best. But ground, there sometimes things change. More so, he was known for being very, his hands, you know, Masanda. That's what I have.
Oh, wow.
The
anyways, that also speaks into the type of electorate that we are as voters. But Robert, let's have a look at what we have on the local scene today.
Well, we begin with the campaign's trail. Now, yesterday, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni launched his presidential campaign from Luwero or Greater Luwero. The campaign rally was held at Bukalasa Agricultural College in Luwero district. And here, the president was accompanied by the First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni. Even the evening of Tuesday afternoon's downpour did not stop candidate Museveni from joining the cheering crowds. Party's Central Executive Committee leaders, led by the first National Vice Chairperson Alhaji Moses Chigongo and the second National Vice Chairperson and also Speaker of Parliament Annette Anita Among, Calvin Echudu, Haruna Cheyune Kasolo, among others, graced the launch. Luwero is historical to President Museveni and the NRM government, as such attachment is what takes Museveni back to the region to launch a political struggle. Museveni recalls that it is after the price paid by this region in 1986 that a new Uganda began. From a collapsed economy to security, Museveni said the struggle has yielded fruits. Although government has put in place all avenues to transform Uganda, the president reiterated the need to double efforts towards eliminating corruption. On the political side, Museveni came in to push opposition out of Greater Luwero. Museveni continued to agitate for free education for all. Moving on, the Alliance for National Transformation Party presidential candidate, General retired Mugisha Muntu, kicked off the campaign trail in Kawempe and Kisenyi, Kampala Central, as Uganda gears up for the 2026 general elections. Mugisha Muntu promised to introduce efficient bus transport and promote non-motorized transport options and promote qualitative and good governance in Uganda. The Alliance for National Transformation Party presidential candidate officially commenced presidential campaigns for 2026 general elections at Kawempe Muslim Playground in Kawempe Division. At Kawempe Muslim, Muntu campaign focused on national unity, inclusiveness, and a peaceful transition of power. A seasoned leader with the military background and politics, Muntu promised to bring about real change in Uganda. His claim expressed a lot of energy amongst the people as a former army commander to tackle corruption, congestion in the city, efficient bus system are among his priorities. Now over to security. Police are concerned about processions carried out by the NUP presidential candidate in public places during his campaign. Police spokesperson Rushoke Gitumwa said the processions are likely to disrupt traffic and pose danger to members of the public. Commanders have been directed to curtail processions moving forward. Police have issued warning to political party candidates currently canvassing for votes nationwide to comply with the traffic regulations. This follows reported incident where 5 people, including a motorcycle rider, were injured along the Kalaji-Kayunga road. Police have directed commanders to stop processions that might disrupt traffic and business, obstruction of roads using campaign materials, and changing venue is prohibited. Police have also displayed footage captured on camera showing arrogant use of public space, warning that all involved parties will be charged. Finally, on the local scene, issues of Kampala. Kampala Capital City Authority has unveiled 5-year strategic plan, a service delivery standards and clients charter, which statutory instruments are aligned to National Development Plan 4 and the government's 10 forward growth strategy. According to KCCA, underperformed in previous strategic plans, achieving only 35% of its planned results, with 7% not being assessed. The Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago attributes this to a program-based planning and budgeting approach and underfunding of the entity. But through the new strategy, KCCA seeks to reduce average travel time, increase the proportion of paved road network, reduce flooding, and construct drainage spots. So it seems the target of increasing the non-tax revenue from 114 billion to 55 billion in the next financial year will not be achieved because KCCA messed up the revenue streams. The goal is to transform Kampala into a planned, inclusive, and resilient city to enhance the city's economic growth and strengthen the oversight system. So it means sustainable urbanization will need substantial productivity as it offers a number of opportunities. The strategic plan will be financed with 11.9 trillion shillings from the municipal and project bonds. Well, that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning. Let Julie take us through what the rest of the world has.
Thank you very much, Robert. And we're starting off with a story that would rather have your eyebrows raised, depending on how you embrace matters science or what the purpose is for this science. But US scientists have, for the very first time, made early-stage human embryos by manipulating DNA taken from people's skin cells and then fertilizing it with sperm.
Gosh.
Yep. So the technique could overcome infertility due to old age or disease by using almost any cell in the body as the starting point for life. It could even allow same-sex couples to have a genetically related child. The method requires significant refinement, which could take a decade before a fertility clinic could even consider using it. Experts said it was an impressive breakthrough, but there needed to be an open discussion with the public about what science was making possible. Reproduction used to be a simple story of man's sperm meets woman's egg. They fuse to make an embryo, and 9 months later, a baby is born. Now, scientists are changing the rules. This latest experiment starts with human skin. The Oregon Health and Science University research team's technique takes the nucleus, which houses a copy of the entire genetic code needed to build the body, out of a skin cell. A human born out of skin. Wow. Anyways, looking at other stories, Mtetwa, South African ambassador to France, Emmanuel Nkosinati Mtetwa, reportedly fell to his death from the upper floors of the Paris Hyatt Regency Hotel. On Tuesday, the body was found at the foot of the high-rise Hyatt Tower in Port Milot in the west of the city. Media reports suggested he fell from the 22nd floor. Footage shows the general views of the hotel where the 58-year-old diplomat was staying. Police presence is also seen around the venue. Now, according to the prosecutor's office report, following the incident, the secure window in Nkosinati's room was forced open. The diplomat's phone was last used on Monday near the Bois de Boulogne in Paris. A spokesperson for South Africa's Foreign Affairs Department said it was aware of unfortunate reports pertaining to Ambassador Nathi Mtetwa and would release a statement once official information was available. This comes a day after Mtetwa was reported missing by his wife following a worrying message he had sent. The diplomat, who also served as an ambassador to Monaco and the permanent delegate to UNESCO, was last publicly seen on Saturday at the 109th anniversary of the Battle of the Ville, wood marked in Longueville. Sad story there. Anyways, coming to the continent, former Congolese President Joseph Kabila was sentenced to death in absentia and found guilty of war crimes and treason by a high military court in Kinshasa. On Tuesday, footage shows military judges arriving in the courtroom ahead of the verdict, while attendees, including members of the public and media, follow proceedings. The High Court sentences, quote unquote, the High Court sentences the defendant to the death penalty without mitigating circumstances for the war crimes of intentional homicide or murder, for the war crimes of rape, torture, attacking protected property, and condoning acts of war crimes or propaganda of acts of war crimes, for treason, for organizing insurrectional movements, to 15 years for penal servitude, principally for conspiracy. Applying Article 07 of the Military Penal Code, it pronounces a single sentence, i.e., the harshest, the death penalty, ordered Lieutenant General Joseph Mutombo, President of the High Court. The court also ordered Kabila to pay approximately $50 billion in damages to the Congolese state and the provinces of North and South Kivu. He has been accused of supporting the M23 militant group, and Kabila boycotted the trial and has not appointed a lawyer, while his current whereabouts are unknown. He has firmly rejected the accusations against him, saying the court was used as an instrument of oppression. Well, that brings us to what we have on the global scene, and looking at this story of embryos made out of skin. I think if science is used for purposes that encourage order, as God purposed it to be, thumbs up. But if science is used to encourage purposes of disorder as to how human life should flow, that causes the eyebrows to be raised. I mean, why should you encourage?
Julie, what is wrong when you call a spade a spade?
Order, I mean, why would you encourage same-sex marriage to
yes,
have
that is what you
child?
wanted to say. You know, you don't have to, certain things hit them straight that, well, why would science be used to promote something that is illegal, that is homosexuality or lesbianism or same-sex marriage, which is not biblical? Because now if science is looking for ways that these couples can have a child that is biologically, if I may use that, theirs.
Yeah,
but if it's coming out to help families that are failing to give birth, you know, I want to tell you there is nothing as hard as being a couple, nothing as challenging as being a couple and you're hunting for a child and you can't get the child. It's very stressful to the women, and if the man is not that well raised in God-fearing, he'll automatically give that as an excuse to go and find another woman. So if science is coming to save such situations, sure, I support it. But if it's coming to go against God's plan, may it not see success.
What do we have in the press today?
It's all about campaigns, I must say.
Right.
And of course, this is the time. Now, elections, NRM kicks off campaign in Luwero. Museveni promises to triple PDM cash. Wow. If they have been getting 1M per parish, now that, I mean 100 million per parish, now that makes it 300 per parish, who remain poor then, if used well. Then also we see here court news, that is doctor, assistant charged over death of expectant mother. Moving on, we see Citizens Manifesto, Alebutong, Otuke, voters outline most pressing issues. Now, back to the campaign trail again. Kyagulanyi promises support for farmers. A good one. Nandala promises Buvuma residents roads and power. I was in Buvuma over the weekend, but they need to get a ferry. What they look at as a ferry is very dangerous. If I show you footage, it is totally something very funny. It's not a ferry, and yet those people can only move using that and funny boats, I must say. Then we have Muntu pledges clean leadership and urban reforms. And a big question up there, will new flag bearers save or sink Noop?
Interesting question.
You see, will the wave still count, or will people now say, let's vote for people, not merely saying you belong to this party?
Right.
So if they do that, will the party have more members of parliament at the end of the day in the 12th parliament, or will they come less in the 11th parliament?
Interesting question, one to chew on deeply. Indeed, and looking at what we have with other dailies, starting with the Citizen in Tanzania, how expiry of AGOA will affect Tanzania. Uncertainty over accessing U.S. market is growing among some African countries, including Tanzania, as a trade preference program between the two sides expired without renewal. That is in the Citizen. Still in the Citizen, NLD's Doyo vows to tackle pressing challenges in Geita if elected president. And looking at National Nature, Tanzania Bird of the Year 2026 title up for grabs. If you're a bird lover, that's a pretty much interesting one to look into. And Samia launches Kilimanjaro campaign with pledges of infrastructure, health and water. Also, cybersecurity not keeping pace with threats, says Interpol. Cybercrime is accelerating across Africa, threatening public safety, financial systems and digital trust, according to a new Interpol report. That is what we do have in the Citizen. And looking at what we have in the Daily Nation, Uhuru move jolts Ruto Gachagua. That is the headline there. And looking at the broader-based government, the president and ODM leader Raila Odinga's allies have attacked Mr. Kenyatta for his harsh criticism of the manner in which the country is being governed. Also in their united opposition, the revival of Jubilee Party and association with former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has triggered furious reaction from the former deputy president's camp. All matters politics. And second chance, after his botched 2022 succession plan, Jubilee leader is back. Also team to probe school sex pests. And former DO recounts former DO recounts Al-Shabaab captivity. All of that is what you ought to look forward to in the Daily Nation. Also, ex-KNH bosses 229 million shilling cash, assets frozen in graft war. And that brings us to the end of what we have this morning in the dailies. Let's have a short break, as it is a Wednesday one ought to celebrate Women Crash Wednesday. Do enjoy a song from Rema Banyabo. Good morning.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
That inform their voters' choice at the end of the day. But at the end of the day also, that image showed me a lot of what it means to be active in politics. Indeed, that's why they say politics is a dirty game. But is it really dirty, or we make it dirty? Well, that's for you and I to ponder on and chew on. But welcome to the show. It's the 1st of October. Wow, the 10th month of the year, and also the month of Uganda, where Uganda gets to celebrate her birthday. That will be next week on the 9th of October. But as we all know, it's the month of Uganda, October, when Uganda got her independence. But also, on another note, October is Mental Health Awareness Month every single year. So you'll get to see a couple of conversations here and there addressing matters mental health and mental health awareness. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Again, we've done it.
Yep, we are really twinning when it comes to colors.
I was shocked getting on set. But otherwise, I hope you're fine.
I am. And you, Robert, do share what stood out for you as of the third day of the campaigns yesterday. Of course, matters that had keep on escalating, with different candidates setting what next. They are going to tell their voters what next. But let's first look at the campaign trail as of yesterday.
Well, one of the things I picked concern is the police spokesperson.
Right.
That is Shoke Gituma, bringing footage of the trail of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, where they had guidelines of no processions, ensuring they observe the traffic regulations and Road Safety Act. And now he was trying to show footage to the press that, look, this we may not tolerate. We can't tolerate where you're blocking roads because you're heading to a venue. He said, you go to the venue or let the crowds find you at the venue. But this issue of where you're going and you're blocking roads, people cannot continue with their work because of you have a convoy full of people, you know, you're causing a lot of chaos on the road. He said they have been lenient enough, they are most likely to go in. Now, I've already said, and I will repeat, that we can make this campaign very smoothful, very peaceful, if the candidates, their supporters, decide to be law-abiding, if police acts very responsible and refrains itself from excitement. Now, where sometimes we see that some officers go overboard, they present a lot of excitement. Now, this was a very good step. Instead of police running into causing, no, show people that actually, when we bring in enforcement, we cannot have a road, a highway blocked for hours because a candidate is going to the venue. There are sick people, the people are going to fly out of the country, the people are going to pick money. There is a lot of things. People are concerned about what you're doing actually, so that you've shown them. Now you, the candidate, it comes to you that, hey, we are going here. These are the rules and regulations. You know? Let people gather at the venue. Because without you, they're not going to come like 1,000 of them. They'll go one by one, a bus or two, and gather. You'll find them like on nomination day. By the time Robert Kyagulanyi got to Natete, it was packed full to capacity.
Right.
The people were there. They never came in a manner that is of processions or blocking roads and all that. But also must be understanding that sometimes certain things also candidates may find it hard to convince the electorate, more so in this time of excitement. You know, that yes, much as this person has been walking normally, driving normally through the streets, at this particular time, because he's a candidate, it may be hard for him to move from Magere, go smoothly to a venue. So how do we strike the balance? Can we have his voice to his people and tell them, you know, we don't want these disruptions, we don't want police to come between us, we don't want the tear gas, then the pelting of stones, then arresting some of our supporters. Each vote counts. We don't want to lose it at this time. So please, if you are going to be at the venue at 10, you know the venue, mutandiko simbula kusawa. I mean, we're talking about sawa. Mutandiko simbula sawa. munana. So that you get there, I find you there, we discuss what we discuss. After give me where I go, so that we continue taking the message of a new Uganda to our people. You know, I think that is something. But also the issue of the flag bearers. If there is any trying moment, political parties have gone through those that have people yearning for their flag. That is NRM and NUP, I must say.
Regarding
Now,
NUP, somebody asked, is it a matter of artists as a choice? Because if you think about it, when Honorable Segona was dropped, of course it was Matthias Buga, who we very well know is an artist. Honorable Joyce, Matthias Warukaga, pardon me, yes. Honorable Joyce Bagala was dropped for another actor. She's very well known in the film industry. I forget her name, but of course we know her stage name.
She was good at holding the umbrella for Robert Kyagulanyi during the nomination.
Many people watched her in, I think, a TV drama called Nabosa. She's the one now who took the place for that Honorable Bagala occupied. If we look at Semba Bule, Nina Rose, you know, was given the card. And many people are wondering, was it?
By the way, before you go, just give me at least a 50K.
Mpox is real. Protect yourself and the loved ones. Stay safe and do not indulge in casual sex or other risky behaviors. For more information
About Mpox,
call the Ministry of Health toll-free line on 0800 1066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health
with support from UNICEF, WHO,
and its partners.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV. If you are just joining in, you're welcome. This is Good Morning Uganda. And if you started the show with us, thank you so much for sticking around and watching the show. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. And this morning, we are looking at the second session of the Uganda-Somalia Joint Permanent Commission and Investment as well as Business Summit, which is to take place from the 7th to 8th October at Mestil Hotel. And to have that conversation with us is Robert Mujimba, who is the counselor from the Uganda Embassy at Mogadishu, Somalia. To be a part of the conversation, 0709602592, WhatsApp by text, so that we are able to engage you with effective responses from this side. Once again, good morning and welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Robert.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming through this early morning.
Pleasure. Thank you. Good morning.
Yes,
and
indeed.
I want to thank you for inviting us, giving us an opportunity to air out on the JPC session, which is forthcoming. Good morning, viewers. Once again, this is the second session. We had the first session of the Uganda-Somalia Joint Permanent Commission from 7th to 8th August 2022. It's been now 3 years. Now it's timely that we have the second session of the Uganda-Somalia Joint Permanent Commission, and we also have the Investment and Business Forum on the same day, when we shall have exhibition of the Ugandan products.
Very interesting. Now that indeed, as we've very well understood that it's the second one, that means, as you've said, that the first was in 2022. There was a lot that was discussed. What are some of those objectives or conclusions that were come to during that first one that have been realized over the years?
Thank you so much. One is that when we had the first session in August 2022, which was at the Speak Resort Munyonyo, we assigned the agreed minutes and identified areas of cooperation. And these areas of cooperation were characterized under 3 clusters. One which is a political, second which is a economic cluster, and third social cluster. The political cluster entails cooperation in areas of diplomatic and political consultation, which falls under Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Then we have defense, which falls under Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs. Then we have trade, which falls under Ministry of Trade. Then we also have economic, which we also has the issues of agriculture. Then social, which has education and refugees. In this context, we so far signed the MOU on diplomatic and political consultation by the respective ministers of foreign affairs, but we also signed an MOU on defense cooperation. You as well know that we have UPDF troops in Somalia, so we had an MOU on defense cooperation. We had an MOU on trade, that apart from peacekeeping, but also need to harness the trade investment opportunities between Uganda and Somalia. But we also had an MOU signed between the two investment agencies, Uganda Investment Authority and the Somali Investment Agency. And the side is where we had Investment and Business Summit at Speak Resort Munyonyi on 10th of August 2022, where it was graced by both presidents of the respective countries. We had Kampala Declaration that was promoting partnership on trade, investment and tourism in the respective countries. So at the sidelines, we also had an MOU signed by the respective chambers of commerce. So we have a lot to track for the status of their implementation, but we're also anticipating that in the coming second session, as you rightly mentioned, of 7th and 8th, from 7th to 8th of October 2025, we shall have an MOU on immigration management, we shall have an MOU on education and sports, but also we have to sign a bilateral agreement between the two countries.
Right, 0709602592, that's the WhatsApp number that you should engage as we discuss the second session of the Uganda-Somalia Joint Permanent Commission and Investment and Business Summit. It will be taking place on the 7th to 8th October at Mestil Hotel, and we'll be giving you the detail of what the event will be like and who is invited. But before we get into that, Robert, I'd like to know what lessons Uganda has learned from the first summit.
Thank you once again. Yes, we have learned a lot of. First of all, as a result of the first session of the summit, our trade has exponentially increased between Uganda and Somalia. So we are not only providing peacekeeping troops, but we also have increased in terms of trade, in terms of agricultural products. If you look at Bank of Uganda statistics, our trade has increased as of July 2025, this year. Our trade has increased for over 4 million exports to Somalia from Uganda. So since the JPC has been inaugurated, there's a lot of expansion in terms of trade and investment. The number of investments of Somalis in Uganda are quite evident. You can witness them in all the aspects of all the sectors, have quite a number of investments that is ranging from remittances to agricultural products, to cafes and restaurants, to oil and gas, in all the sectors of agro-industrialization, tourism, science and technology, including education.
Right. And looking at some of the MOUs that are to be signed during this session, that is migration management, education, looking at labor, how will implementation be enforced based on what has been enforced? What strategies are you looking forward to either changing or maintaining moving forward from the new that will be signed come October 7th to 8th?
Under the agreed minutes, we have a mid-term review on the status of implementation. There is a mid-term review which is always chaired by the Permanent Secretary Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Vincent Bagire, and his counterpart from Ministry of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation. These carry out a review to track the status of implementation. Therefore, when we send the MOU, we follow up and identify areas that need to be followed up for implementation. We also carry out a review to track whether the implementation has been on track. Where there isn't, then it's important the line MDAs are able to implement. If you mention, for example, on the Ministry of Education, we have around over 4,100 Somali students studying in different universities To mention, but if you quite a number, Makerere, IU, Cavendish University and others, then we have over 2,500 Somali secondary students who are studying in Uganda. It is very, very important that we have, we formalize the cooperation in terms of MOU between the respective ministries of education of Republic of Uganda and Federal Republic of Somalia.
Right. When we talk about trade, currently trade between the two countries is described as one way where Somalia heavily trades with Uganda, and Ugandans trade less with Somalia on the other side. What strategies are coming through this upcoming MOU to make sure that there's a balance where both countries benefit from each other's land spaces?
Thank you once again. First of all, as I mentioned to you, since the first session, there was increased awareness of the Ugandan private sector to understand there is trade and investment opportunities in Somalia. That necessitated that most of the Ugandan products were able to have an entry in the Somali market. And this has been seen in most cases. We had a trade and a expo when we had our independence celebrations at Uganda Embassy in Somalia. We had Inspire Coffee coming to bring coffee in Somalia, and quite a number of agricultural products, including sugar, fruits, and other areas, vegetables that are able to, especially the agricultural products, including also the aircraft parts. So quite a number of, since the first session of the JPC, our trade has increased. The trade between Uganda and Somalia has exponentially increased, as you can witness by the statistics provided by Bank of Uganda. There is exponential growth almost every month that our trade has increased, and it continues to increase, and there is open awareness for the products. Secondly, we are also organizing exhibition in Mistiel during the 7th to 8th, where all Ugandan products will be exhibited. And as of now, I think with registration from private sector foundation, we have had already 68 people or companies that have registered to exhibit their products. And a tent has been provided at Mistiel so that people can be able, or private sector can be able to exhibit their products during the JPC and Investment and Business Forum.
Right, 0709602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should engage and ask your question. And staying with matters trade between Somalia and Uganda, like I'd mentioned it to you, that it's known that the trade between the two countries is more one way where you see more Somalis in Uganda than you hear more Ugandans in Somalia exercising trade. Someone comes through and says, it's in Uganda, but I will translate it after. He says, Zomgaga Saurembo enabweru kansula addako mbuuza lwaki abasomalia batumazeeko emirimu abamu bavuga boda boda mu Kisenyi. In other words, why is it that we see a lot of Somalis in Uganda taking over Ugandan jobs like the boda boda industry in Kisenyi, which is quite prevalent, and Ugandans are not? What answer would you have for this viewer?
Thank you. First of all, Somalia is now the 8th member of East African Community.
Right.
And therefore, once you say a country becoming a member of EAC, you're necessitating most of the protocols that facilitate or promote EAC integration, including free movement of persons, where you can also go to Somalia and be able to work. We have over 22,720 Ugandans working in Somalia, including the UPDF troops, people working with the UN. We have over 25 private security companies who have recruited and employed over 2,000 to 3,000 Ugandans working as security guards in Uganda. So there are quite a number of exchange in terms of working and employment opportunities. So to my friend and the one who raised the concern is that the Somalis are like any other East African citizens. They can be able to work in Uganda like the Ugandans can be able to work in Somalia. That's why we are encouraging Ugandans to be able to harness the opportunities in Somalia so that we can benefit from the dividends in terms of trade and investment.
Right, let's look at the business summit and looking at what might transpire. Obviously, we imagine that SMEs will also be a part of this great gathering. What role do you think they will play at the business summit, but also how will they be linked to larger opportunities, say government opportunities?
Thank you. When we have an exhibition and we have an investment and business forum like such a kind of both countries, we have products that will be presented for exhibition, and all potential markets that will be able to take most of the products, including the private sector and government players, will be able to exhibit and also see the products you can be able. So it's an opportunity to showcase the Ugandan products, give an opportunity to small medium enterprises to bring their products that can be able to export to Somalia, because there is a big market not only in Somalia but to go beyond the Gulf, to Qatar, to Yemen, to Oman, that you can take your products all the way. Yes, last month, 24th of September, Mogadishu port was considered under the container performance index, was considered one of the best in East Africa in terms of the total time of an arrival of vessels to arrive and depart. So if you can find that opportunity, you can be able to take your products and easily they are consumed in Somalia, but also beyond in terms of the Gulf in the Middle East. But also Somalia itself is 3 times bigger than Uganda, so it's very, very important that even the products you will be taken can be easily consumed in Somalia.
Right. Let's look at the security challenges that are faced in Somalia. Shall there be a point of discussion where strategies to encourage Ugandans engage with Somalia more, will they be tabled at the convention, at the commission?
Thank you. First of all, Uganda, under the leadership of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, has hosted several summits of the troop contributing countries in Kampala, and decisions have been made and they have been followed up. In addition, as I mentioned to you earlier, we have an MOU on defense cooperation, and under the MOU of defense cooperation, we have developed mechanisms of interacting with our counterparts in Somalia to identify areas of help in terms of peace and security. And you can as well know that Ugandan, the UPDF was were the first troops to set foot in Somalia, but also to provide, to ensure pacification of Somalia. There is relative stability, although there is still some challenges of terrorism, as done by, infiltrated by Al-Shabaab.
Very, very profound at that. Let's look at tourism. Tourism is big for Uganda, but also it's understandable Somalia has unique cultural norms, natural norms that ideally one would want to look into if they visit Somalia. How is the summit going to address tourism for both countries?
Thank you. First of all, during the summit, Uganda Tourism Board has been invited to showcase the potential of tourism destinations in Uganda, but also their counterparts will be coming, including Uganda Investment Authority. If you get to analyze in terms of the airborne, Somalis are quite airborne in terms of traveling, and they are able to access. They have over 6 million diaspora, so they are able to harness the opportunities they can be able to exercise in terms of investment in tourism sector, and we have quite a number of Somalis who have started investing in the tourism sector in Uganda. So it's an important opportunity that both countries and both, especially the private sector, can exercise and also benefit in terms of utilizing the opportunities in both countries.
Right. Thank you very much, Robert Mujimba. He is the counselor from the Uganda Embassy at Mogadishu, Somalia, and we are looking at the second session of the Uganda-Somalia Joint Permanent Commission and Investment and Business Summit, which will take place this very month, that has started today, and that will be next week, 7th to 8th October at Mestil Hotel. Who is invited?
Thank you. Whenever you have a JPC, all the sectors that are involved are invited in terms of the sectors in government. In this context, we shall have the participation of the Ministers of Defense, we shall have the participation of Ministers of Foreign Affairs and their permanent secretaries. We shall have the participation of ministers of trade, planning, investment. We shall also have the participation of ministers internal security. In this context, internal security in Somalia covers immigration and also security. We shall also civil aviation. You know that Uganda Airlines operates 4 times a week in Somalia, but also have some limited operational challenges. So civil aviation team from Somalia will also engage with our civil aviation here, but also Ugandan Airlines will also project how it can be facilitated, but also how it can show the areas of destination where you can connect from Entebbe when you're from Somalia. The route from Somalia, Mogadishu to Entebbe has exponentially supported Uganda Airlines, which are connected from Entebbe to London. So there are quite a number of participants. Then we shall also have the private sector on 8th specifically, but we have exhibition which runs from 7th to 8th. But we have investment and business forum where all Ugandan products and also Somali products, there is an exhibition as mentioned to you. Already we have 68 who have registered exhibitors, but under the private sector to showcase Ugandan products, but also the Somalis also to showcase their products which can be tradable in Uganda.
Right, so that means the general public is invited as well.
Absolutely.
What time shall it start?
The program starts from as early as 8, from 7th, the whole day, and it runs the second day on 8th. We shall have a JPC where we'll discuss government to government, areas of cooperation as mentioned, as per the last session. Then we shall continue on 8th, where we shall have specifically to focus on the private sector on areas of promoting partnership on trade, investment and tourism between the respective countries, that is Uganda and Somalia.
Right, thank you very much, Robert. I look forward to having you back for a mid-term review as to what shall have been discussed come next week, for us to catch up and understand that the progress of what has been discussed and what has been achieved thus far. That will be then when we have him back. But for now, thank you so much for coming to the show and giving us the opportunity to get to know about the session, the second session of the Uganda-Somalia Joint Permanent Commission and Investment and Business Summit that will take place next week on 7th to 8th October at Mestil Hotel, starting at 8 a.m. on both days. General public, you are invited as well, so make sure that you are a part of it. Is there any form of registration to be a part of it?
Yes, there is a form, especially for if you want to exhibit Ugandan products. Through PSFU has provided an online link which is shared to the general public and all those who want to exhibit their products and also participate in Investment and Business Summit. Private Sector Foundation has provided a link which you can register wherever you are, and you can be able to bring your products. And you'll be given a space at a free cost. Uganda Embassy in Somalia has been able to facilitate through the support of Ministry of Finance, but also Foreign Affairs, to provide a tent where you can exhibit your products at no cost, and people can be able to view your products, also purchase your products in different areas of cooperation.
Right, thank you very much. Hopefully you've taken note of that. Go take over that opportunity that will take place next week, 7th to 8th October. That brings us to the end of this conversation this morning. Good Morning Uganda does continue, and up next is JMU Tourism Express. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Today is World Tourism Day. It has been celebrated in West Nile, in Arua City. We are very excited that the whole world came to Arua City. Now, West Nile is a very unique part of Uganda. This is the part of Uganda which has been traded between Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, Belgian Congo, and Uganda 3 times. West Nile, so great history. Another great history about West Nile is the place where the Nubians were given to go and form Uganda Protectorate through Emin and Gordon. West Nile also happens to be the place where Churchill came to hunt elephants, and also President Roosevelt of the US came to hunt rhinos, and he still has S trophies in his library in the US. But we need to also look at West Nile as the Nile. 210 kilometers of motorable part of the Nile. So we welcome people to go to Jinja, but you want more scenic and longer, more serene part of the Nile, that is West Nile. West Nile, again, is the place culturally the most diverse part of Uganda. We say West Nile, but you find Lugbara, Aringa, Madi, Kakoa, Aluru, Jonam, Gimara, Raleigh, all in one. So it's a melting point. But apart from this, also 800,000 refugees living harmoniously with the people here. Again, West Nile is the place where soon OWA is going to have rhinos back. You know, the white rhino. And then Rhino Camp, the place called Rhino Camp in the world, is here in West Nile. So you want to see rhinos in the wild, this is going to be the only place. But most important about West Nile is very friendly, welcoming people. Okay? Very green place, unlike it is taught in schools erroneously. It's not up in the hills, it's a green place and welcoming people. And when you come to West Nile, you will find Ara fishing lodge, a well-established tourist destination, end to end, whether tourist activities, whether vacation, whether a getaway, in form of either adventure or just relaxation, birding. If you want canoeing, you need to do other water sports. All is found here. Mountaineering, all is found here. Please, tourism and vacation is not the big five alone. Come for the options. And you will have the opportunity to know how northern Uganda has emerged post-war into a very vibrant, confident, and very embracing and progressive community.
A happy World Tourism Day to you all. My name is Frida Kulu. I am an investment manager specializing in tourism for the Uganda Development Bank. So every 27th of September, we join the rest of the tourism fraternity to celebrate World Tourism Day, and this year in particular we'll be celebrating it in Arua district. I'm happy to note that as Uganda Development Bank, we've been part of a number of projects that we have since funded in our different sectors, inclusive of tourism, agriculture, schools and hospitals, manufacturing and industry, and also we do have a special unit called the Special Programs. Under tourism, we've funded so far and are still funding others as well. So we identify very well with the World Tourism Day. This is a remarkable experience for us. We're happy to partner with the World Ministry of Tourism, and we thank them for always making sure that we are part of it. We've been great funders as far as tourism projects in Uganda are concerned, not just in Arua and the West Nile region at heart, but in the Uganda overall. We thank the government of Uganda for being a part of this and making this a noble cause, that we are able to recognize that role the sector plays in terms of keeping the tourism fraternity and the sector afloat. I thank you so much. We continue to work together to bring Uganda to a united close. Thank you. Award for
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Good morning. Welcome back from JMU Tourism Express. Time for business. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and we are starting off with matters World Bank. World Bank wants the government of Uganda to minimize use of supplementary budgets to ensure budget credibility. This call was made during the release of the 25th edition of the Uganda Economic Update, which focuses on expanding fiscal space through stronger domestic revenue mobilization and more efficient public spending. In the light of recent cuts in the overseas development assistance, the bank notes that raising domestic revenues has become even more critical for Uganda. It also stresses the need to strengthen fiscal outcomes on both the revenue and expenditure sides. The World Bank's provisional estimates point to lack of progress on fiscal consolidation, with the financial year 25 fiscal deficit almost 2% of GDP higher than what was budgeted. Now, according to the latest IMF/World Bank debt sustainability analysis, Uganda continues to face a moderate risk of external and overall public debt distress as debt to GDP ratio reaches 53% of GDP in the financial year 2025. Government says this matter is being addressed, and the report raises concerns on recurring expenditures which consume a large share of the national budget at the expense of investments. Now, let's move on as we look at the railway infrastructure. Zambia, China and Tanzania have signed the Tanzania-Zambia Railway Tazara Revitalization Project agreements after over 1.5 years of negotiations. The revitalization project will cost $1.4 billion US, of which the initial investment will be $1.1 billion and $238 million will be reinvestments. Tanzania, Zambia and China have signed a $1.4 billion US financing agreement to modernize the 1,860-kilometer Tanzania-Zambia railway, building on the Memorandum of Understanding concluded in September 2024. The agreement covers comprehensive infrastructure upgrades, the rehabilitation of workshops and the procurement of 34 locomotives, 16 passenger coaches and 760 freight wagons. The revitalization of Tazara is expected to strengthen regional connectivity, boost cross-border trade and lower transport costs. As a strategic backbone of the southern route of the Central Corridor, the rehabilitation of the Tazara infrastructure will complement ongoing investment in the standard gauge railway to position the Central Corridor as the competitive and sustainable route. Now moving on, Plascon Uganda has rolled out the 14th edition of its flagship paint and win promotion, an annual celebration that combines customer rewards with nationwide community impact. The campaign, which runs from October to December, promises bigger prizes, more winners and a stronger focus on corporate social responsibility. This year, customers will share 3 billion shillings of prizes worth of motorcycles, cash and other life-changing items, with every ticket guaranteed to win. Here's the revised version without mentioning CSR. Plascon refurbishes 10 schools and health centers, improving classrooms, facilities and supporting local communities. The company is also showcasing its green credentials, Paint and Win, a celebration of loyalty, a boost of livelihoods and a commitment to sustainability. Finally, the Uganda Communications Commission has rolled out a new campaign to empower boda riders with digital skills and financial inclusion tools. The initiative, Beraku Digital, enhances safety, improves efficiency, and integrates riders into digital economy. The Beraku Digital project, launched in Kampala will train more than 3,000 boda riders from Kampala and Wakiso districts. Uganda Communications Commission says the initiative promotes cashless transactions, reduces crime, and creates a digital trail of transactions, making the transport sector safer and transparent. This digital system will enable authorities track and apprehend law offenders. Deputy Traffic Commander for Kampala Metropolitan, Justin Opus, says the initiative will empower riders with digital literacy. The campaign is a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Information and National Guidance, UCC, the Uganda Police Force as well. Now that brings us to the end of what we have in business today, but we cannot conclude business without looking at what we have in the forex rates. And as of 30th September 2025, the US dollar opened at 3,485.18. That is buying, and was selling at 3,495.18. And by midday, it had dropped to 3,484.91 and selling at 3,494.91. It closed then at the same 3,484.91 and selling at 3,494.91. The British pound was buying at 4,683.37 and selling at 4,696.80. The euro was buying at 4,089.71 and selling at 4,101.45. And the Kenyan shilling was buying at 26.98 and selling at 27.06. The Tanzanian shilling maintains the 1.41 at buying and selling at 1.42. And the South African rand also maintains buying at 201.95 and selling at 202.53. And that's it from the world of business. Good morning, Uganda does continue. It's Wednesday, so we have a conversation with the cooperative movement. And today we're looking at harnessing cooperative education for growth and sustainability. 0709-602-592 is the WhatsApp number that you should save and be a part of the conversation. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Taxation is a bit complicated, and the only way to demystify it and make it as easy to understand and to comply with is through engagement. Is there a limit to the number of cars a returning citizen is bringing into Uganda? Who has paid the excise duty on this water is not the supermarket which has sold you this bottle at 1,000. It's not the business, it is the man who is going to drink this water. We strongly believe that it will only be through such constructive engagement that we'll be able to broaden our tax base and build our country together.
Buza Commissioner. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvest in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geographer we taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it.
Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament, instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
In all these years, we emphasize 2 words, wealth and jobs, and we try to waken our people up to show them where wealth and jobs come from.
The Parish Development Model, PDM, is a bold initiative that is reshaping Uganda's rural economy. By allocating 100 million shillings to each parish annually, PDM empowers households by unlocking opportunities for wealth creation.
This program will be maintained. Each year we send 100 million for the parish. If you get the 1 million, you can buy some goats, you can buy some pigs, you can buy even young cows.
Farmers are transitioning from subsistence farming to commercial agriculture, laying the groundwork for wealth creation and improved livelihoods.
This project started 11 years ago after an inspiration from His Excellency. And that time I was working as a taxi driver. I was doing that master business in Soroti, and he was talking about how to improve household income.
With the PDM, you bring back the money after 24 months. But in the 3rd year, you would get another 100 million paid back by those who got first.
The President's message is a mindset changer. Becoming rich does not mean you should have a lot of land, you should have a lot of education, you just need a vision and implement and start from where you are.
So therefore, this PDM is to get all of you out of poverty. That's why we said 100 million per parish per year.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, May Dondolo.
can now get all the chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
As Gulu District Farm Association, in two districts of Omoro and Gulu, 14,300 farmers benefited from this project, whereby if you go to that link of Gulu District Farm Association, you have all the details of the number of farmers who have been benefiting from this project. One thing Gulu District Farm Association benefited from this project called Prelno, it has strengthened the extension system of the DFA, or the Gulu District Farmers Association, whereby there were capacity building of each of the staff, the one in Gulu, the one in Omoro. Before this farmer group, I also benefited from this project, whereby, particularly for me, the other achievement I made, because in fact, I think all in all, I could say the luckiest, to me particularly in my team, because I finished my university in 2020. Immediately I came for Prelno. So I understood every structure, what's all about in Prelno, whereby I had to achieve. I constructed also a house home, I also had a bull, whereby they hope my museum from home for plowing. So that's briefly what I can say. Thank you so much.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvesters in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geography we're taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it.
Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament. Instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV. Time for the agenda. And as every Wednesday, we have conversations regarding the cooperative movement. And today in particular, let us explore how education and partnerships are shaping the future of cooperatives in Uganda. 0709-602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should engage and be a part of the conversation. Now in studio with me is Miss Justine Kayinza, who is the head of partnerships at the Uganda Cooperative Alliance, alongside Mr. Alex Oriokot, who is the principal Uganda Cooperative College Tororo. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. Good morning and thank you so much for being on the show. Good morning, Mr. Oriokot.
Yes, good morning, Julie.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you too.
Right.
I'm actually delighted to be here this morning sharing on cooperatives, because that is where our passion is. And whatever we do, we focus on cooperatives.
Passion is very pertinent. Ms. Justine, always a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Julie. Good morning, dear viewers. As Uganda Cooperative Alliance, we are indeed happy and we are grateful to UBC for offering us this platform to talk to cooperators across the country.
Right, thank you very much. And given that we're talking matters, education, we shall start with Mr. Alex Oriokot, who is the principal Uganda Cooperative College Tororo. What does harnessing cooperative education mean in the Ugandan context?
Yeah, thank you so much, Julie, for this opportunity. And incidentally, we are focusing on harnessing the cooperative education and growth for sustainability, which is key for our country, Uganda. First of all, I'm Oriokot Alex Tuke, the principal Uganda Cooperative College Tororo. I want to send my regards to all the listeners out there who are right now tuned to us, and I know they will be able to get a benefit of this discussion tonight. Right. When we are talking about cooperative education, how we can harness the cooperative education, it is quite broader, but I think I will be able to break it down into about 4 or 5 key issues. Number one is for us to understand what cooperative education is. And when we are talking about cooperative education, we are actually looking at imparting knowledge, skills, and values that empower individuals. Empowering individuals, institutions, and communities to operate effectively within the cooperative enterprise. That's what cooperative education focuses on. There are 3 key aspects that I've mentioned here. One is knowledge, 2, we are looking at skills, and then 3, we are looking at values. When we are talking about knowledge, just like in education, we need to be able to impart or get people informed what cooperatives are, how do they operate, what makes them unique from other business entities, and also what makes them a reliable source or model that can drive development in the country. So once you get to understand and get this knowledge, then you can now be able to put this knowledge into action. That is where you need the skills. Now with these skills, basically we are looking at the ability to apply the knowledge that you have got in order to realize what you are hoping for. Of course, these values, these skills, you can be able to utilize the God-given talents, use your physique, the hands, the mind, your legs to move, and so on. There are different parts of our bodies that can be able to help us, coupled with the knowledge that you have already got. Then 3, we are looking at the values. It is only in cooperatives that there are key values that we cherish as cooperators. And those values are the driving force behind what makes a cooperative more unique than any other kind of business. Like we find that in cooperatives, we focus on a value like of, say for example, self-help, that in cooperatives, that is where we could be able to help one another and also help yourself. You don't wait for somebody else from outside who should be able to come and give you support, but you should be able to start by yourself. That's why you find that majority of them come together, where there's a challenge which is common to both, then they can pull in resources and confront the challenge together. 2, you look at democracy. It is in cooperatives that's where we can be able to learn democracy, where you find that it is in the cooperatives that's why we focus on democratic member control. That is one of the first principles in the cooperative movement, which is internationally recognized. You find that one man, one vote. We don't look at how many shares you have, how much savings do you possess, but whatever level of saving or shares capital you have, you only have one vote. So it is the